We were just introduced finally to the newest addition to the Assassin's Creed series, Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Now, we all know I am the world's foremost expert on Vikings, it's even in my username. So, of course, I'm gonna have some thoughts regarding this. I do want to say this at first, I am a little sick of the portrayal of the Vikings in pop culture with shows like Vikings. It takes what we do know about the Norse, which honestly isn't a ton because of how little they actually wrote down, and modernizes it to make it more suitable for things like television. Of course, that is just me. For how accurate the show can be, it makes the inaccurate parts even more annoying. And that does bring me to Assassin's Creed. I can excuse the inaccuracies in Assassin's Creed at least a little bit other than in other mediums, because it is trying to build a world around this one core idea, that the Assassins and Templars are fighting throughout history to claim relics from the Izu, or precursors. With the narrative being set up like that, I can tend to look past it, so hopefully they do at least sprinkle in a little accuracy throughout the game. And I can't believe I didn't write this. I just wrote the script. Usually with games like this, it does lead to people thinking that they know more than they do about, like the Norse and the Vikings. This happened with God of Thor. So that already biases me against stuff like this. I mean, that's entirely gatekeepery in my opinion, and I can fully accept that. But as long as people kind of shut up and realize that, you know, a lot of this stuff is fantasized, then we can get along. Sorry, I just needed to throw that in there. At this point, we only have that first trailer that has zero gameplay. I can say, though, I liked the fact that the trailer tries to show a gentler side of the Norse, which I guess maybe 10 years ago would have been more necessary, but at this point I feel like people know that the Norse are not super bloodthirsty monsters anymore. Just based off of what's been shown, I feel like the main character might be Ragnar Lothbrok, who's probably one of, if not the most famous Viking. Which would be a change from the other games in the series because Ragnar was an actual person, and we don't see that in these games. Everyone tends to be a fictional character. This part's unscripted, but Altair, Ezio, Connor, I mean, those are all fictional. Who else? The fucking twins from Syndicate. God, I'm blanking. What's his face from Origins? Origins. Cassandra and Alexios from Odyssey. Yeah, they're all fictional characters. So it would be kind of a cool take to see a non-fictional character. Granted, a lot that we know about Ragnar Lothbrok, there's a lot that's up in the air about what's accurate, what's not accurate. So it'll be kind of interesting to see what they do with that. And, I mean, we don't know that it is actually going to be Ragnar, and it's not founded on anything else other than, in the trailer, he looks like he's basically the leader of this clan. So, that would kind of make sense. Especially because, like I said, he is, like, the most well-known Viking. We see a big battle, which could very well mean that the war system from Odyssey would be carried over, which, you know, does make sense. It is the sequel. On the battlefield, there's a hooded figure that is seen by Ragnar, and a raven flies up into the sky, and Ragnar believes this to be Odin, which does make sense. So I wonder if this takes place early on, and then Ragnar gains access to the raven for the aerial surveillance that started in Origins. Finally is the hidden blade. There's a cool reveal for it, where Ragnar stabs the big boy in the eye with it. One thing to note is that it's mounted on top of his arm as opposed to below. Typically in the Assassin's Creed series, a blade that not being exactly like what has been seen usually indicates someone who's ripping off the technology, typically the Templars. So it very well could be that you're not playing as an assassin, at least not at first, which isn't too crazy. I mean, you start 3 as a Templar, Edward Kenway is barely an assassin, Rogue is straight up a Templar, so it's not too unreasonable. I do want to point out, though, in all those instances, they use the traditional underarm hidden blade, I feel like that's probably just for gameplay purposes, so they can just carry over the models and everything. So, what about the name? Well, Valhalla is one of the afterlives in Norse mythology. That's pretty well known. Maybe that, alongside Odin appearing to Ragnar, means that they are going to bring in more of the mythology into the game, which I am absolutely okay with. Odyssey played with that idea a little bit, but I haven't gotten horribly far into that stuff. But apart from the first Civ being the basis for our gods, we don't really see that a whole lot. I should say, I think that this game had a 2-year break between it and Odyssey, which is a good sign. But honestly, I don't feel like Assassin's Creed is really Assassin's Creed anymore. I started to feel this way with Black Flag. I mean, it was an iffy pirate game with pretty bare bones Assassin's Creed elements layered on top of it, and it's only really gotten worse. I think that the series needs to either die or go back to its roots. I like the RPG system well enough, at least I don't hate it. But with Odyssey, there's very little of what I actually like about the series. There's minimal free running, which was one of the most enjoyable things in the earlier games, and the stealth has somehow gotten worse. Not to mention that it's now a pain in the ass to assassinate people. Sometimes it just doesn't even work. This is the old man in me speaking, but the Ezio Trilogy and 3 are the best games in the series, and if they could just make all Assassin's Creed games like those, I would be happy. At least get rid of the boat bullshit. I don't want to say this is partly unscripted, which is fine because it's the end. I don't hate Odyssey. I mean, I liked Origins, I didn't beat it. I've put maybe 15-20 hours into Odyssey, I really enjoy it. Odyssey, it feels less like an Assassin's Creed game than basically any of the other games. Origin, at least, it's closer to more of just like an open world game, but you can still feel Assassin's Creed in there. You can feel it a lot less in Odyssey. So I feel like Odyssey was a step back in that direction. Honestly, one of the main things I like about Odyssey is the fact that it's showing off ancient Greece, which I fucking love. I mean, as far as history goes, it was my first love. So I am kind of interested to see them giving Valhalla that same treatment. I don't know if they will, though. They should. It would be kind of interesting to see because you could have essentially the hub worlds being Scandinavia, and well, I guess maybe not hubs, but you can build up Scandinavia and have, you know, the cities of England being more of the traditional Assassin's Creed fare. And actually something I didn't really even think about until now. Timeline-wise, this is actually going to be pretty close to the first game. If I remember right, that game took place in like 1100 something, and Vikings, they didn't die out, but Viking culture started going away around 1000 AD, so it's actually going to be pretty close to the first game as far as that is concerned. So maybe we'll see some of the actual like assassins, which would be kind of interesting. I don't know, that's completely just hearsay at this point. I have no idea. It's just shot in the dark, just something I wanted to throw out there. Anyways though, if you enjoyed this video, please let me know down below. Tell me your thoughts about Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Clearly I have some thoughts. I've already been going for about 10 minutes at this point. So even for impression videos that are, what is it, page and a half script? Yeah. There's a lot to talk about. Anyways though, that's been it. That's been James, and I'll see you in the next one.